Okay, so here we are. Finally made it to number 1. So far, we learned that even Mormons, Buddhists, Jews, and Baptists should be marketing. We got a little bloody with OJ and visited the dentist twice. Rich took us into his home. He taught us to preposition prospects and tell them a believable story and become their consumer advocate. If that's not enough, or you just couldn't go on with your day if a top 10 countdown ended at 9, here's our last clip. And the announcer said,
Number 1.
Let's just review for a minute. We've got the concept of the ignition code. We've got the concept of drawing a line in the sand. And now we're going to talk about power of words. And we're going to talk about power talk. When you speak with power, people believe you are powerful. When you speak with power, people are drawn to you. When you speak with power, your character and competency are not questioned. You say, well, it would be easy to fake that then. Somebody that wasn't really that good could speak with power and they could be believed. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't mean that we want you to have no inside reality. That doesn't mean that we want you to just be talking powerfully, but here's the truth. In our society, based on people's experience, they tend to know that when people talk tough, when people talk bold, when people talk with power, that they tend to possess that power. Because the people that don't quickly get found out, and they quit talking because everyone quits listening to them. So you don't really have a lot of examples of people talking powerfully on and on. I mean, we could go into politics and we could have some interesting discussions about that topic, but in, the commercial side of life and in the personal side of life, it doesn't really hold up that you can talk powerfully, but meanwhile not deliver, okay? Think about some of the greatest talkers of all time. Muhammad Ali. What a great talker Muhammad Ali was, right? He let his opponents know in the press conference that it was over before he ever stepped foot in the ring. That was part of his persona. And you say, well, so you're talking about intimidation here. You're talking about being arrogant and cocky. No. What we're talking about is standing for something, drawing a line in the sand, and then using language that communicates that power, that communicates that position, okay? And I'll show you again examples of all of this as we go through this. When you speak with power, you stand out from the crowd. You know why? Because nobody else freaking does it. Either they don't know how, or they don't have anything worthwhile to talk about. So if you speak with power, and especially if it's based on something real, then you're going to stand out just by the way you talk, okay? So let me give you some principles of power talk. I would encourage you right now to get a pen and write all of these down. There's about 10 of them, okay? Number 1 is be specific. And again, some of this is stuff you've heard in MYM before, but write this list down because I want you to look at it and I want you to evaluate some of the things that we're going to be looking at later against this list. So you can look at it and say, well, is what I've written powerful? Well, is it specific? Number 2, acknowledge the concerns of the prospect. Acknowledge their concerns. I'll show you examples of this in just a few minutes. Tell the story if and when it's appropriate. You say, well, what story? Well, I don't know. Whatever story is appropriate to make your point, to be powerful in language. And again, I will show you examples of all of this. This one's very, very important. Have a strong opinion. Have a strong opinion. Guess what people want when they go to buy something? They want a strong opinion. I had this interesting discussion with Bruce. He owns vacuum cleaner centers up in, I think it was Lansing, or forgive me if it's not Lansing, somewhere in Michigan. He's got the typical situation where you've got Costco and Target and Walmart selling crummy vacuums that are no good, and it's kind of taken business from him, and he's the expert when it comes to vacuums. And I said, Bruce, here's what people want. They want to talk to somebody that has a freaking opinion. So you don't want people to come in and say, well, what are you looking for? You say, well, no, in sales, we want to find out what people are looking for. Well, kind of, but here's what we really want to do. We want to tell them what they need, because how many times do you get an opportunity to stand in front of a vacuum cleaner expert? I guarantee you this, if you go down to Target, Costco, Walmart, or Sam's Club, you're not going to be talking to an expert. You're going to be talking to a clown. Have a strong opinion. Have a strong opinion. We want to put those opinions on paper. We want to use those on the phone. We want to use those strong opinions in person. But understand this. When people go to buy something in marketing, in this situation that we're talking about here, it's always a buying environment. That's what marketing is. People want an opinion, and they want you to have one. here's what you don't want to do. Well, what do you want? We've had salespeople that worked for us in the past. We're like, well, what do you want? Here's kind of what we have available. What makes most sense for you? Well, what? No. Here's where you're at. Here's where you're trying to get, and here's what you need to do. I'm a big proponent of few choices. I'm a huge proponent of just tell people what they need. Now, for vacuum cleaners, we might want to find out what their budget is. We might want to find out what their particular carpet or flooring situation is. But after that, we want to be able to say, here's what you need. You know what? There's 52 different brands of vacuum cleaners. We've investigated all 52. See, I'm getting into this power talk. This is telling the story, okay? This is being specific. Listen to this discussion. We've evaluated all 52. We found that out of 52, that fully 44 of them were not even fit to be sold. They were cheap. They were inexpensively manufactured. They break easily. They don't suck well. They don't last long. See, this is called power talk, having a strong opinion. Next, tell it like it is. Don't mince words. Tell it like it is. Now, if you've been around me for very long, here's what you know about me. I don't mince words. I just tell it like it is. If you get on a Tuesday morning ad clinic and your ad sucks, I'll tell you it sucks. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. But if it sucks, and your customers want the same thing, your prospects want the same thing. They want straight talk. They don't want you to color it some shade of different from what it is. They want to know the truth. Don't mince words. Use plain English. Plain English simply means saying it the way people talk. Saying it the way people talk. Elevate the attitude. Elevate the attitude. What does that mean? That means use some passion when you talk. Don't just say, well, we found that there's 52 brands of vacuum cleaners and 44 of them were not up to our standards. So we discarded those and we looked at the 8 that were remaining. Well, there's no passion in that. Nobody wants to hear somebody talking about some laboratory test of some stupid vacuum cleaner thing. Get the passion going, man. Come on. Watch TV. Here's an assignment for you. Watch TV and watch some of those shows where they are in court and it's an attorney in a lawsuit. Look at some of those. And then you say, well, it's TV. It doesn't really count. Well, who cares if it's TV? Here's what I want you to watch. I want you to watch the passion of those attorneys. Man, they get into it. They believe it. They are pissed in many cases. And you should be too. Not mad, but here's what you need. Appropriate passion for the situation. Elevate your attitude. Next, customer's advocate. Genuine advice. Okay, this is how we talk powerfully. Customer's advocate. Here's how I explained it to my investment advisor friend the other day on the phone. I said, when you're marketing, your marketing needs to be the equivalent of walking around to the other side of the desk, putting your arm around the prospect and saying, I'm here to help you make the best decision. It's called customer's advocate. Genuine advice, not bullcrap advice, not here's what I want you to do because it makes me the most money advice, but genuine advice. Find and use power words in juicy words. Now, I kind of made this up, juicy words. You say, well, what's a juicy word? Well, here's what a juicy word is. A juicy word is something that brings out a powerful mental image on the mental canvas of the listener, the hearer, the viewer. And I'll give you some examples of those. It's something that's very hard to teach, but it's easy to look at examples and say, oh, there's a juicy word. And then you can start trying to insert some juicy words and some power words into your writing. And then you can send it over to us and say, well, what do you think? And we might look at it and say, well, you think that's a power word, but it's really used in the wrong context, whatever. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, doesn't matter. But observe, insert, and then get feedback. Okay, that's how this program works. Okay, finally, concede faults or any downside that there may be. Okay, you say, well, I don't want to look bad. Well, there's not always a bunch of downsides, but just if you have some, concede them because it gives you credibility to admit when you're not the best situation, you're not the best choice, when you're not the best fit. Wow, see, this is powerful. Okay, power talk. So write that list down. I hope you did.
Speak with power. Speak with power. With power. Speak. Okay, let's stop before I start beating my chest. That's about all the time we have for today. I am Stu Gray, and this was the MYM Insider Monthly Top 10. Monthly means I'll talk to you soon. Until then, listen to the calls and call in. Maybe next month, we'll be hearing you.